Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm Steven Rogers.
I'm Andrew Chavone. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, one and all.
We're very, very excited.
I just turned down you and turned up me.
Perfect. That's good. I am very excited. We're very excited to welcome back our first guest and favorite guest. Brian Regan is back.
Hey!
Look at that. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me back.
It literally feels like another world since you've been here last. I don't know, does it feel like that for you?
I did episode 18
Yes.
of yours.
Yes,
That's right.
You did.
And I was listening to some of it today, and I asked how many episodes you had done, and you said, we've done a lot. And you were serious. You're like, we've done like 18 or so. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, I think this is 111.
Yeah, this is 111. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we can say we've done a lot.
Well, thanks for having me back on. I didn't know I was the first guest. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
We wanted to say.
I wonder if I'm the second guest. Am I the first and the second guest?
You're 1.5.
You're our exclusive guest.
You're the only one who's ever wanted to be on our show.
This is actually episode 2.
Yeah. So can I try the theme song?
Oh, please.
Sure, please.
Panic attack, panic attacking. It's a panic attack, panic attacking.
Oh my God, we might replace it with that.
I enjoy it.
I'm gonna make
Thank
a couple
you.
phone calls after this. Old guy, you're out.
Did you guys have it specifically made for the
Yes.
show? I would
Yeah.
assume. I'm like, unless
You don't remember that top of the charts hit? Panic.
it's well done. I actually like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we had like when we were doing this work, we called in every favor. So the person that made the song is a comedian. The person
Yeah.
that made our logo is a comedian.
Brian knows we called in every favor.
Our first guest is Brian Regan.
Some favors we called in twice.
We have a speed dial.
Oh man. Well, this is a especially anxious episode. Do you want to get into your thing before? One thing is we're not missing this story.
Yeah. So yeah, people have been messaging us. Has it been? A year and a half?
It's been like 2 years.
People have been messaging us because they listen back to the episodes and they're like, "What's Brian's story? Tell me."
Oh.
So
We're gonna hear it in this episode.
Now I know I'm going to have to embellish it because if people are expecting this big thing, I'm going to have to throw in a lot of made up stuff.
I think it's good. I think it's great as is. But why don't you tell us and the people what happened to you today?
So I got one of those stories that I think is interesting, but I don't think other people think is interesting. You know, like
Yeah.
we planned on recording today, and in the middle of the night, I had like this anxiety attack. Like, what if the road's closed off? What if traffic is bad? What if I can't find parking? So I was like, I'm gonna book a train because I think that's the most reliable transportation. You know, you just get on the rails and then you go to the station. There's no ideally traffic. So
And you don't have to go up to the train engineer. Where are you going to park when you get there?
yeah, can you pull this around back? And they go off the rails.
And also that thing that makes the hoot noise.
What is
toot
that called?
noise,
The
the
whistle?
toot.
The whistle?
It's the hoot noise machine.
It's just the engineer saying that into a mic. Hoot. Hoot hoot. So I was like, okay, great. So I get to the station early, and then on the board, I don't see a gate for my train. It just says the time it's supposed to leave, and then has another time below it. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's the arrival time. It's the new departure. It was an hour late.
Oh.
I didn't know trains. I told Steven, I was like, what is this, the Civil War? I thought we've like perfected this over hundreds of years of locomotion. Like, is there a robber or something? The horses with the, what could be delaying a train?
They thought it was a train robbery, but everyone had their COVID mask on.
Maybe that's what. It's a tour group sightseeing with their COVID masks on horses, and they're like, oh no, we got to stop this.
So it was too late. I mean, once you're there.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. So I look on my phone and I call Steven. Steven's like, I guess this has happened to you before. train
Yes.
delays.
Yeah.
He's like, it's going to be even later than an hour. Get out of there. So
I was like the man in the van. It's like, get out of there. It's a trap.
they got you surrounded. There's robbers.
This is about to fall, our electronic gizmo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's our droid. So I'm like, okay, I'll book a bus because the bus leaves in 15 minutes. So I buy a bus ticket online. I put in my credit card info, and then I realize the bus station isn't where the train leaves in New York City. It's at the Port Authority.
It's like 3 blocks away.
No, it's 10 blocks.
Oh. Well,
I feel like this
whose
story.
bus am I taking?
So I take the subway. I get there. I get to the station and I hit confirm because I've been in the subway, and it says it is now too early or too close to departure to buy a ticket online. You're gonna have to go to the gate to buy it. So I go, oh, I'm already up here. So I go to the ticket thing. Doesn't sell the ticket for 1, so I buy the 2 o'clock, hoping I can just sneak on. I buy the transferable ticket.
Right.
And I get to the guy, and he's like, yeah, we'll let you on. There's plenty of room. Oh, wait, but this bus is going to Newark. So I didn't realize this, but I guess sometimes buses have layovers. So I had a bus ticket to Newark, and then I had a second ticket from Newark
Yeah.
to Philly. So I'm like,
And then you see your train go by.
With everybody smiling and having a...
We're going to get there in record time.
their heads are just like bobbing back and forth, looking at me.
Life is good on this train.
Oh, man.
The only way to ride.
Well, you made it.
Yeah, so the guy goes, I'm like, come on, man. And he goes, well, it's not my money. And he just was like,
Whoa.
get on there. So thank God for people who don't get commission from buses.
Wow.
So did you... I think I'm misunderstanding. Did you have to still do the layover in Newark?
No, this was the Express.
Oh, so you did not get on the... I gotcha.
Yeah, so that was the miscommunication or the problem with getting on the earlier bus. I had the local... They wanted the Express ticket. So,
Man.
but the guy let me on.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might cut that the whole story out, but
Not at all.
but maybe it's better to know my POV.
Why you're hyperventilating? Oh, man.
That'd be actually an interesting talk show if the host was late every day, and the start of every show is him explaining why he's late. This guy's got a problem.
He's always got
He's
just
late.
flushed red.
Yeah. That's how he starts every show. Okay, sorry. All right, here's what happened.
So tell me about your movie.
And then they start telling him about the movie. They're like, hold on, water, please.
Yeah, water. I need some napkins. Yeah, it's an action movie. Okay. Yeah.
Man.
We're gonna have to move this. It's driving me.
Sorry.
It's on the verge
You know
of.
what? You know what? Let's move this table close so then
Oh.
there's
There
some
we
more
go.
slack here.
Well, that anxiety of things falling off tables is a perfect way to get into the topic of the show.
Have you ever been? You're at an airport. Usually, it's when you're trying to make a connection, and the first leg is delayed.
Yeah.
Right, and then it finally gets to the gate, and then they don't know how to like bring the tunnel out to the jet bridge out.
Yeah.
You end up running through the airport to what is supposed to be your connection, and then they have the gate door closed, and they're standing there, but the plane is there.
Yeah.
And you try that last ditch trying to plead with them. Like it's never been successful in the history of aviation that
Never.
that anyone has been able to open that door. I go, no, you don't understand. I have important things that I have to do. I have to be on that plane to do the important things. And they just look at him like, once the door is closed, it's closed. You know?
The accordion thing's already back. You're screwed.
We don't have enough union manpower to get that accordion thing back to the door. So
Man.
but I feel like a good way to start this is
Yeah, let's get started.
yeah to It's so. The topic of anxiety. I was thinking this on the bus, but the topic of anxiety. I feel like there's a lot of stigma about it, where people are like, "Oh, Mr. Nervous Pants." You know, do you ever? Like, I feel like it's weirder to not have anxiety ever than have anxiety. You know, like the people that make fun of people who have anxiety, like, have they never worried about anything in their life? I mean, I find you have to be a sociopath.
Well, I think everybody is going to have a range of emotions, and anxiety, I think, is going to be included in most human beings.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody who, you know, is able to just avoid that altogether. That would be quite a life. You just,
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean? You just wake up and every moment is just pure bliss. I want to meet that guy.
He wakes up every day and it's like music plays for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah, I know some people that are pretty cool and like calm and collected, but then they'll later be like, "Man, I was so anxious earlier when that thing happened," and I'm like, "What?"
You're stone-faced.
Yeah, there's some people that just don't show it externally, which I think is probably smarter than what my strategy is, which is rope everybody into it with my face.
Yeah, mine is just hand movements, like crying for help in quicksand is my anxiety tick.
I got one that happened today, and then I want to get into some questions for Brian. I was walking with Eric, who's helping us on the tour. Eric is Brian's tour manager.
Cool.
And he lives in Indiana, and I live in New York City, and we were walking through Philly today, and I noticed I have New York City pace when I walk down a city street, and he has definitely Indiana pace.
Well, you know they have that team named after him.
The Colts. I was wondering why he was galloping.
It was like, really? Do you have to neigh in public like this?
Yeah, anytime he was stressed, he was like... But there's people walking on our heels because it's the city, you know? They're right on top of you. And I'm like trying to speed up, and he was so calm and cool and collected. I was like, I want Eric's life. I want his calmness.
I used to, when I lived in New York City, because I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Miami, Florida, which is that's not a fast-paced city. I grew up in the suburbs anyway. But then when I moved to New York, I developed that quick pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I found whenever I was walking anywhere that I was the fastest walker. Like no one ever passed me.
Yeah.
Like you had to do it out of survival, or
Well, just
is it just your
wherever
natural
I'm
rhythm?
going, I figure I want to be there. Like if I'm walking somewhere, it's because I
Yes.
want to be there.
Yeah.
So I never understood why wouldn't you go quickly
Yeah.
to get to your destination. And but then as I got older, now I notice that a handful of people do pass me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm at an airport and I am walking to my gate and I think I'm going at a relatively quick rate of speed and somebody will blow past me and I'm like, man, what's with this goofball?
Yeah, where do they need to go?
But then I think that's what everybody would have said about me when I
Yeah.
was blowing past people, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I first got my driver's license and people were driving slow, and usually it was like the elderly people driving slow, and I'm like, don't you have places to go? You only have a little bit of life left here. Get the gas going. And now I drive slow. People are honking at me, and yeah, it's not worth it to get there early. I mean, it's not worth it to get there and speed and all that stuff.
My dad would get on the highway. He'd pull a station wagon with all of his kids up on the highway. And, that entrance ramp is so you can pick up speed.
Yeah.
to get ready to go.
And then you're on the highway and you're moving. Well, he never did the pick up speed part. He just, we're like, all right, when is he going to hit the gas here? And like a 35-mile-an-hour merge and everybody's going 60. And, everybody around him was a maniac. He's like, look at all these crazy people.
Oh, man.
What's their hurry? What's their hurry?
How dare you go to the speed limit? Slow it down.
Right.
Oh, man. Wow. Now, last time we had you on, you talked about how you weren't particularly an anxious person. Is that still correct?
It depends on the situation. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like I can have my moments where I'm not comfortable. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I have it to the degree that some people have.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I have my moments just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, you say in your stand-up that you say you have uncomfortable moments in group conversations.
Yes.
Like in your last hour. Like that's kind of like social anxiety in a way. I mean, I have that all the time.
Yeah, it's hard for me socially. I think because when you're a comedian, you're very conscious about brevity, you know, and getting to the point of things.
Right.
And
You're
it's very hard.
Self-aware is important.
I'm
part.
self-aware of it, but I'm also aware when other people don't have that skill. You know, when they're telling a story, it amazes me.
Yeah.
You know, that some people don't have the edit button.
Right.
Right.
Like, get to the point.
Yes.
You know, and it's awkward because I realize, well, I'm disproportionately wired to being quick because of being a stand-up. So I think I unfairly put that on other people. So I always have to have this internal debate where I have to go, just relax and get into this story, even though I'm constantly going, all right, that was unnecessary.
Yeah. Who's this character?
That what you just said was extraneous and has nothing to do with where you're going.
Like
That adjective wasn't needed. That little side tangent was not necessary. I mean, that's always going on in my head while someone's telling a story.
Yeah.
No, all the time. And then the worst part is like they finally get to the end, and then there's really no point, you know.
Right.
And you're like, why did I? Please, sir, I kind of
Right.
want to like take them under my wing and show them a few things, you know, maybe map out the tale a little better.
You almost want to get a movie critic to sit next to you while that person tells the story and have them write up that story.
A review of their story.
Yeah. It was all over the place. This had no purpose. This character went nowhere. There was no development.
But I also, then part of the paranoia extends to me.
Yes, me too.
In that, all right, if now I'm going to jump in and tell a story, then I'm worried, am I following my own rules?
Right.
You know, am I going off on unnecessary tangents? Is the end of the story worth everything that's leading up to it? You know, because not every story is funny.
Yeah.
And you feel awkward when you're a comedian in a social situation with people who are not comedians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because sometimes they think, well, everything this guy says is going to be funny.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily.
Yes.
You know, and then you just tell a story and they look at you like, well, what was that all about?
Right.
Oh my god. Yeah, I
And
know.
you go, I was telling you about how I almost died.
Right. They're like, I guess that's funny.
Yeah.
But when am I?
Where do I laugh at your almost death?
I want to enjoy your almost death. Make it funnier for me. I have two social anxiety questions about stories. Have either of you been telling a story and realized, oh God, there is no good ending while you're telling it?
Yeah.
And what have you done during that? Have you owned to it as you're about, like, have you stopped and go, I just realized there's no good ending, or have you told it to the end?
I don't know. I usually just try to like wrap it up as quickly as possible. You know,
You're packing up your things.
Yeah, try to manufacture an ending that might have had nothing to do with reality. No, I won't do that. I will try to tell the truth in a story, but
Yeah.
But that's one reason why I'm more socially uncomfortable. I think I'm more socially uncomfortable since I've become a comedian because of this feeling that everything has to either be funny or have a great ending.
Yes.
You know, so it's more challenging. Whereas before I was a comedian, you don't have that pressure on yourself.
Right.
And sometimes you want to get something off your chest, but it's like a very traumatizing experience, you know, but there's no, like, I mean, this happened to me over the weekend, but I went to Los Angeles and the first breakfast with my girlfriend, I'm going to have to tell a story again, but the waiter had a seizure and fell down, and,
Oh my
and
God.
the ambulance had to come, and there was blood, and I didn't know what to do, and
Steven, this is going to be so funny. This is going to be the funniest thing we've ever heard in our lives.
All right, get to the punchline.
and then And then the whole day I was like shook. I'd never seen something like that. And then
Yeah.
at dinner, I felt like I had to tell the story. I'm like, listen to this. And everyone's like eating, And I'm like,
And the waiter's like,
There was blood coming out of the waiter.
he didn't get a good tip either. Wow.
yeah. And then as I told it, I was like, wait, I know where this is going. It's not going to be funny. It's tragic. And I kind of wanted to bail, but I was already like telling it. And afterwards I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry, everybody. I knew you were eating, or I know you're eating, but I don't know why I told it. It just happened to me. I felt like I had to share it to the people.
I get uncomfortable when there's only a handful of people listening to the story to begin with.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes up and pulls someone away. So now you're down to like 2.
Yeah.
Right.
And then another person gets pulled away, and then you're thinking, like, if this third person gets pulled away, do I just pretend like this story is still going to be told to the ether, or do I have to pull my smokestacks in and stop pumping story smoke?
Yeah. What do you do? Do you stop or do you follow through? Like, what's
I get my feelings hurt.
Oh, for sure.
I get my feelings hurt. It's like, and I've had it happen recently where like people at dinner asked me to tell a story, and I didn't feel like it was the right time for that story.
Right.
So
Right.
it's always strange when somebody says, "Hey, tell that story about such and such," and you're like, that's not really something that fits in here.
Yeah.
So I reluctantly started to tell the story, and then the people that asked me to tell the story started talking to each other.
Oh my God.
like they just wanted me to tell the other people the story. I'm like, you set me up.
They wanted background music
Yeah,
for
you're
their
like-
conversation.
Right, and then they just started talking, and I'm like, what the hell is going on
You're
here?
like Alexa to them.
Hey, we got some important private business. Can you just tell that story about the banana peel while we talk over here?
While we chit-chat over here on the side.
I've had it where someone's telling the story, and you know that I found out from them telling the story and the person getting distracted that they were only really wanting to tell that one person. Because when it was down to me and the other person that were listening, they were like, it was crazy. And you're like, oh, okay, you just wanted to talk to this person.
Yeah, this walking up to a conversation and hearing, oh, I'll tell you later. Then you're like, were they talking about me?
What are you going to tell him later?
Can I be there for that?
Yeah, tell me what time we're meeting for this story.
And I also don't get the whispering thing. I've had that
That's another
when
convenient
people
thing.
at a table, it's like a ballroom table or something like that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of people on the other side just kind of like lean over to each other and put the hand up and whisper.
The nerve.
What the hell
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah, and why can't is it really that?
When has this ever not led to you having all the worst insecurities in the world? Just one hand going like this.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because you think you're talking about them, or they're talking
Of
about
course.
You. Yeah.
That's when you start going through all the things that are wrong with you. Is it about this? Is it this? Is it this?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're going, Brian is very secure in himself, and he would never be bothered by someone putting a hand up like this. I wish I could be like him. I wish I could be so self-secure that somebody putting a hand up like this wouldn't bother him in the slightest.
He's really great. Really, it's just...
Maybe you should tell him. No, I don't think so.
No. I think we should continue to do this conversation like this.
What about when you
We should do the whole podcast like this,
it's like
so
a
the
theme
listeners aren't in on it.
just for us.
Yeah.
yeah.
I go, hey, wait. I don't want your listeners to hear.
Yeah,
but there's something about they're like a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah,
Right? Strange.
People just watch this for an hour. They're like, I guess that was good.
yeah. I wonder what they were saying.
What about this? What about when you're telling a story in a group of people and then people start coming, but they miss the important beginning?
Yes.
Do you explain the beginning to these new people, or do you follow
Try
through?
to. It depends, but I'll try to like reset it as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling these people, when I would,
But then what if somebody else walks in?
That's why I just want to be on stage. I just want to be on stage
Right.
Yeah.
where I can control
Yeah.
what's being said and
Yeah.
assume everybody heard the beginning and the middle and the end.
Yeah, there's never been a show where another group comes in
Yeah.
and you're like, I was telling all these
Right.
these audience members. I had one more thing, and then we went through all your anxiety of somebody telling you to tell a story.
Yeah,
But as opposed to that, there is this like horrible comedy club in Times Square where they just constantly sell tickets. So you will have a group of people come in the middle of a story.
Oh, wow.
And then they're like, that joke wasn't funny. I'm like, well, you missed the setup.
Yeah, they're like, frog legs. I had another thing, and I'm blank. Oh, have you ever had it where your friend is like, hey, I need you to bail me out of this social situation if I get stuck in this? So say, hey, can you bring up a little, like we have to do the thing later.
Like the
the
code
phone
word.
I've had it. In this situation, it was bring up that we have this plan later, so we can't hang out. If this person says, let's go out after this, bring up that we have plans.
Oh,
I had
gotcha.
this recently, and I was like, yeah, no problem. And then the guy was like, hey, we should all hang after this. And I was like, well, don't you and I have to go over that stuff? And he was like, what stuff?
And like, you just
He's done that to me.
threw me under the bus.
I've been in with a group of people, and then you say, hey, don't we have to move a couch later?
Yeah, and I've tried to save you.
And I go, huh? What couch?
The couch. The couch that needs moving. Remember how important it was?
Where?
I have a couch?
I only have 2 chairs.
Well, not yet. We got to move it so you'll have a couch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. That's funny. I also have anxiety that I'm the only one without a collared shirt. I should have wore a buttoned
I think
shirt.
you look great. I feel like
Thanks.
he's not wearing one. He's not wearing a collared shirt.
What?
We
You have it at the side where I can see it.
He's bad at that.
That's the guy that's bad at it.
He's bad at it.
No, you're amplifying it.
You don't have a collared shirt. Oh, wait, no, that was to him.
I do.
He
I did
doesn't-
2 hands directed at you.
Oh, man. Well,
Wait, no. So you were saying, so like the code word.
no, we're not going through this again.
No, but I don't. I think do you have something like that you had to do, or
All I know is I got to move a couch. And I got to do it now.
Let's.
oh wait, I had. So sometimes I will be in that situation where the guy's like, well, we don't want him to come, so like make up the excuse with the couch.
Yeah.
But I'm such a bad liar that I feel I sometimes I crumble. I'm like, oh, you want to come with us? Like I'll bring them in, even though
Then you got to find a couch.
we go to IKEA.
Yeah. You go buy a couch.
Yeah.
You got to set it right outside the party. Yeah. Like that, the couch right out the window. That's the one we need to move.
Yeah.
Hey,
Why did we bring it to begin with?
Like, why are you covered in sweat, and where have you been for an hour?
I was trying to get out of this.
My dad was a very honest guy, but he asked me to lie one time when I was a kid. It was an insurance thing, and I had hurt my ankle or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to the doctor's office, and it had happened like a few days before.
Yeah.
And he said, just tell him it happened today. It had some like insurance reason. I don't know what.
He probably didn't have insurance when you got it, and then he signed up for it.
Maybe.
And then if you get injured before it kicks in, then it's not covered.
So I'm in the back of the station wagon on the way to the doctor. He goes, just tell him that it happened today, okay, Brian? He had no idea what like turmoil that put me into. I'm like, well, I don't know how to lie.
Right.
So I go to the doctor's office, and I'm checking in, and the check-in person said, so what happened to you, son? I said I hurt my ankle, and I hurt it today, believe it or not. My dad like put his hand on my back, like, calm down, son. I was playing basketball today. I know that might be hard to believe, that somebody would actually be playing basketball today, but that's the day that I was playing. So today's when I hurt my ankle.
And then the doctor goes to the nurse. I don't think he heard it today. I don't think he heard it today.
I would do the same thing. Like, what did you break, son? Today? I broke. They're like, oh, that's not a bone.
I broke this afternoon. It reminds me of a thing. My dad saw. We were at the state fair, and somebody from my mom's side of the family was working there, and he saw him, and he flagged us over. And my dad forgot his name. And my dad goes, "Hey, Steve, you remember who this is?"
Yeah. Threw it all on you.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh."
That's pretty sly of your dad.
It was really sly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've done it to him since then.
You remember who this is? It's your wife.
Don't we have to move the couch? All right, let's get into it. I want, if you don't mind, this is an anxious story, I believe.
Yeah, it's a thing that happened to me. You were joking earlier, but I am worried that this is built up to a point.
I don't think it is.
All right, here's what happened. I was. I'll tell the short story, and that's what happened.
And it happened today.
And it happened today. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, all that just happened today. I had when I lived in New York City, I had a little car, a Datsun 510. I had a gig in Rochester, and after the Saturday night show or Sunday night show, I decided to drive back to New York City. I lived in Queens.
Oh.
And so I drove. This is my memory. If I looked at a map, maybe this isn't exactly. My thought was that I drove through Syracuse, and then I'm heading south from Syracuse, and I saw I was new to New York, and I saw a deer crossing sign, and there's not a lot of those in Florida. And I naively thought that meant, hey, a little heads up to tourists. You might see deer on the side of the road. You could pull over and get your cameras out. Like, I thought the deer sign meant, hey, good news.
It was just
there's
like
beautiful deer around.
It was just like a
Just
FYI.
make sure you take it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I saw a second deer crossing sign, and I was like, man, there must be a lot of beautiful deer. And then I saw a third deer crossing sign, and then it dawned on me, like, something's going on with these deer things. There's a ton of deer in this area, and they want everybody to know about it,
Yeah.
So I'm flying down the highway, and then all of a sudden a deer jumped out in front of my car. It landed right in front of me. Like, the head was on the left tail light.
Oh my God.
The tail was on the right tail light. I still picture this deer to this day. I saw it and hit it simultaneously. Like, I didn't even have time to put my foot on the brake. I remember seeing its eye.
They have scary eyes.
And the eye looked like, what are you doing to me? It was like, why is this happening? And I probably if he was alive, he would remember my eye, which would have had the same reaction.
His eye was like, didn't you see the signs?
3 signs. How many do you need, human?
This reminds me of the time I saw a falling rock sign, so I got my camera out.
You're just looking up.
Should be here any minute. Should be.
I hope I catch a great
rock.
A great rock. This would be a great photo. So the deer, I hit the deer, and the deer like crumbled up over my car. Mm-hmm. It popped my hood up.
Oh my God.
So it smashed the front. It popped my hood up. I'm still going, 60 miles an hour, and I heard the rumble of the deer like over the top of the car, and now the hood is up. Now I can't see. I'm going 60 miles an hour, and are you guys hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing something too.
What is that? I feel like we're getting like an airport signal.
Hang on one second.
Wait. I hear it more when he lifts his mic to his lips.
Do you have?
I'm hearing like.
Do you have a lav mic? It sounds like a sports cast or something.
Where is this coming from?
Something is coming through.
Well, that's odd because this is all insulated.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wireless here. Is there like it would have to be like a ghost or something.
Can we?
I hear it too though. I don't know what it is.
I thought maybe somebody in the other hotel room was talking.
Maybe let me see. I hear it over here now. Oh. No, that's
I'm hearing radio signals.
How is this possible? How is this possible?
We're picking up radio signals. This story's never going to be told.
I know.
Well, I don't think it's going to come on the recording. I think it's just maybe our headphones.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I'm definitely hearing.
Radio signals.
It sounds like a radio broadcast.
You know what? Let me because then we won't be able to tell. Oh, you know what? I can tell here.
Can we stop this so we save that?
We definitely save that, and then let me plug in one of these, whatever headphone this is, to this, and I'll make sure that it might be our splitter here. Can anyone hear anything? Anyone hear anything?
I don't hear anything
Not
through
now.
my head.
Okay.
It's just like we were telling about the story. Like somebody asked me to tell a story, and then
They turned the news on.
All right, let me plug this back. That's really
Okay.
odd. That's never. Oh, I know why.
Why?
Because I unplugged the input, and I don't know why the sound was making noise, but I know why none of us heard anything. I plugged the recorder back into itself,
Okay.
which I wasn't supposed to do it, but the noise is gone, right?
Yeah, I don't hear the noise anymore. But I only hear.
I only hear myself in one ear.
Yeah, same.
I only hear myself in one ear too. Okay. Oh, I haven't plugged it in all the way.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Now,
All right.
Now I'm hearing myself in 3 ears.
I don't know. I didn't know you could hear out of your eyes, but
All right.
okay. So no more noise, right?
No more noise.
I don't hear any noise. That's good.
That's really weird.
It was almost like his story was so good that his car radio was starting to play.
Because there's no.
Let's put ambiance in it.
Yeah.
I can fake
Yeah.
car radio noises while I tell a story.
Now do the sound of the deer on the car again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna fix this up in post. We're gonna put we're gonna put in a deer noise.
Oh
no!
So
you hit the deer and it rolls over the car.
The deer, I hit the deer. I'm going 60 miles an hour, 65, 66. I'm going to tell the story poorly now after having I was going like 62, 63, 65, maybe 68 miles an hour.
So you were in gear 5?
I was in gear. I had started in park, and then I put it in first, and then I would put it in second, then I put in third, then I'd put in fourth, and then I'd put in fifth. So I was in fifth gear.
I got to write this all down.
What interior?
Well, originally I wanted like a darker interior, but
my friend had a Datsun. Those things are flimsy. They feel like they're like model planes.
it was a Datsun 510. Just a small little.
Is that like a
small little compact car?
Is that like the Datsun Z, or is it? It's not. It doesn't look like a sports car. It's not a 2-seater.
No, it was boxier.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like cool looking at all. No, it was not a.
Yeah, the deer didn't jump out to get a look at it.
Was that a Datsun?
Yeah. It wasn't like I was impressing that deer going, I'll do anything to meet this guy. The deer was like, oh, is that a Datsun 510?
Oh, man.
I need to get out there and meet this guy. I want to meet this guy at 60 miles an hour. So I hit it. Obviously, it was a shocker. It rolled over the top. It popped my hood up. And then I hear just a rumbling noise as it goes behind me somewhere on a highway. And Now I've got the hood up, and I'm going 60 miles an hour on a highway.
Oh my God!
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
Plus, you got to process what the heck just happened.
Right. And, yeah, but it's like, I can't deal with that right now. It reminds me of Tom Ryan's joke. You know Tom Ryan?
Yeah.
Is it okay to do someone else's joke
Yeah.
if you make sure that you're saying that it's
I think
his
so,
joke?
yeah. Shout
Right.
out to Tom Ryan.
I think Tom Ryan listens, too.
This is Tom Ryan's bit. It's one of my favorite bits. And he has a thing about where he was driving one time and he was smoking a cigarette and it was raining and he started to skid out and he threw the cigarette out the window because he's like had to deal with the driving situation. The aerodynamics blew the cigarette back into the back of his collar and caught his shirt on fire.
Oh my God.
So it caught his shirt on fire, and then he starts spinning out, like on a highway, on a wet highway. And his joke is, you never want to get to a point in life where you have to say to yourself, I'm on fire, but I can't deal with that right now.
Amazing.
Oh my God!
It's
Amazing.
just a brilliant joke. Anyway, that's Tom Ryan. Very funny guy.
He also has a really good joke about salt.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That's
I can't
one of his classics, Morton Salt. So anyway, I was kind of in that situation, where I'm like, I there's a deer dead behind me, but I can't worry about that. I have to live in the moment with this hood up. So I know I need to veer off onto the shoulder of the road, but and I'm slowing down as best I can. I'm putting I'm trying to brake, but I'm worried that there's going to be a traffic sign.
Yeah.
Any sign with a post or a pole.
Oh my God! Yeah.
If I hit it, that's it. I'm dead or mangled or something like that. So that fear is like it's traumatizing me, And then, like I finally get the car to stop, and then I'm like, okay, I get out. The front grill is all smashed in. Radiator water is gushing out.
Oh God!
The hood is up. The car's totaled. I can't drive it anymore. And so that's bad enough. It's like 2:00 in the morning. And now I'm worried that the deer is in the middle of the highway, dead, and somebody might hit it.
Right.
So I have a moral and legal dilemma in my head. I'm thinking, is it my responsibility, since I knew about it, to go back and like if somebody hits that, is it my fault?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Morally and legally, And I'm like, I have to go back and find a dead deer in the highway and pull it and drag it off the highway. So I reach into my glove box and pull out a flashlight that was in there, and a bottle of brake fluid had popped open during the little collision and got like brake fluid all in the flashlight. So I get on the highway. I got to walk back on the highway. There's very few cars, like no cars are on the highway at the time. And I'm walking back with a flashlight, and it's shorting out on me.
Oh God!
So it's off more than it's on. It would just go on for a blip every 10 seconds. Like, light gone! Light on, gone! So I'm walking on the highway backwards, like with the light. And now I'm hearing noises in the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would shine the flashlight over, but the flashlight isn't on.
Right.
So I'm aiming darkness at darkness. Like, what is that noise? And then I'm getting paranoid, thinking, well, maybe that's the deer. Maybe I didn't kill the deer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's in the woods and it's hurt.
Yeah.
And it sees me, or it's going to get angry at me, like as the guy that hurt him. And he's going to come out and kick me and hurt me.
He's gonna get revenge.
He's going to get his revenge, whatever deers do.
He's already got your license plate.
And he got a good look at you.
Right. He's got a good description of me. So now I'm paranoid that, did I kill him? Did I not kill him? Is that him in the woods? Then I'm thinking, is that his family in the woods?
Oh my God!
I'm saying him, like I know it's a guy. Whatever. I don't know what gender this thing was. Is a deer always a female?
No.
Well, there's
a
the-
buck is a male, but I think they're still called deer.
According to my movie knowledge, doe is a female deer.
Oh. And
That's movie knowledge.
Yeah.
That's a song.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a song, right?
And,
From a movie.
And Ray and Ray is the guy everybody loves.
So I continue walking back further and further and further on the highway with this strobe light of a flashlight, and I go back about 100 yards. I don't see it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, I think I did my due diligence. I don't see it on the highway. I kept flashing the flashlight as best I could all around. So then I walk back to the car, and now I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So what am I going to do? Just stay in my car? So I thought I have to walk to an exit. I'm going to have to walk to an exit. And I didn't remember how far back the last exit was. I just remember the deer crossing signs, but
Right.
it seemed like it was a long way back.
Right.
I don't know how far ahead the next exit is. So I decide I'm going to walk forward. I figured the math is better that there's an exit in front of me than behind me. This is before cell phones. And then I'm thinking, all right, this is going to be weird that there's going to be just a car on the side of the road.
Yeah.
With its hood up.
With its hood up. So I get a piece of paper and I write, I don't know why I felt anyone would need this information, but I wanted to alert the world.
Yeah.
In case a cop pulled over or something.
Right.
Somebody comes out of the woods. What is that? A car?
Right.
What's going on here?
So I wrote, I hit a deer. Mm-hmm. I'm walking forward to the next exit. I was wearing a silver jacket. I'm wearing a silver jacket. The only thing missing was, and I'm out of my mind.
Also, do you have flashlight batteries?
I'm walking to the next exit to get flashlight batteries. So I'm just, so I put that in the front window. And then I start walking forward. I don't know how long it's going to be, miles and miles.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
It's out in the middle of nowhere. There was no houses or businesses around. It was just all trees, And so I'm walking and walking, and then finally an 18-wheeler pulls up and just pulls up next to me, and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And the guy goes, "You need help?" And I said, "Well, I hit a deer back there." He goes, "Yeah, I could tell." And he goes, "If you want, I'll drive you to the next exit."
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. And I said, all right, great, man, thanks. And so I climb in, and then I'm thinking, this is like how all these horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I know that this guy's being legit? I just have to take a leap of faith.
Right.
And then as I'm getting in, I'm like, is this the biggest mistake of my life? Should I just get back down and go, no, thank you. I'll walk. I don't care if it's 100 miles.
Right.
But I go, all right, I'm just going to take a leap of faith. The guy seemed like a good dude. So I get in the 18-wheeler. He drives me a mile or two to the next exit. We get off. He drops me off at a gas station, and he goes, good luck to you. I got to go. It's not his responsibility to take care of me.
Right.
So I call, again, this is before cell phone. So there's a payphone. The gas station is closed. I go to a payphone. I had AAA. Mm-hmm. I called AAA, and I said, hey, I don't know if this is normal or what. I wasn't familiar with people hitting deer.
Right.
Right.
And I said, I hit a deer, and then the AAA person laughed.
Oh.
What?
Okay. I'm like, all right, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
I mean, you could have hit a funnier animal. I mean, a hippo.
So, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, why is that
Yeah,
so
hippo
funny?
would be funny.
Yeah.
I don't think deer is that funny of a
Deer's
word.
not funny.
No.
Yeah, so I questioned that person's sense of humor. Yeah, right. You're right. Hippo would have been funny. Kangaroo would have been
Kangaroo.
funny.
Yeah.
Because a kangaroo wouldn't be around here. That would be
No.
funny as hell.
Yeah.
I could understand you laughing at that.
Yeah, and it's a silly word.
Deer is just the deer is dead and I'm in agony.
There's blood
and
all
you're and there's blood everywhere and you're laughing. I don't get the humor. So she says, I'll send a tow truck out. So she sends a tow truck out. I'm making it quick, but half an hour wait for the tow truck guy. The guy picks me up. I tell him what happened. He drives me out to the car. So we're at the car. He's hooking the car up. as we're hooking the car up, a truck drives up real slowly to where we are, where the tow truck is getting me hooked up, stops in the middle of the road. So I'm thinking, all right, these people want to help.
Right. Like the last guy.
Like the last guy. It just stops, and these two guys look over at us, and then they start backing up. And they start backing up and backing up and backing up on the highway. Okay? And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
What is going on?
And I asked the tow truck driver, I said, what's up with those guys? He goes, well, they're probably hunters. They just realized that you hit a deer, so they're backing up to find the deer. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. So they keep backing up and backing up and backing up. They back up about 100 yards, and I hear their doors open, and then I hear, woo-hoo, woo!
Oh my God.
Woo-hoo! And I'm like, there's some kind of party going on back there. And I'm like, I'm not having as much fun next to my car as these guys are having back there. And so he goes, yeah, they must have found the deer.
That's their deer celebration song.
Yeah, then a cop car pulls up behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Cop car pulls up behind them. And I'm like, I'm the one that needs help. Why are they? And so I asked the tow truck guy, I said, what is going on back there? And he goes, well, the rule is, he goes, you're not allowed, it wasn't hunting season or something,
mm-hmm.
and you're not allowed to have a deer unless you accidentally hit it, you're allowed to keep it. And I'm like, well, they didn't hit it.
I did all that work.
Yeah, I did the work. I did all the work.
I'm the hunter.
I should be hooting and hollering.
The train hoot.
So sure enough, after about a minute, one of the hunters, no, both of them ran up to me. Like they just ran up and said, hey, I don't know, they had a southern accent, but they were like, hey, did you hit that deer?
You hit that daggone deer back
You
there?
hit that deer? They had some kind of accent. I was like, yeah. What do you think?
Don't you see? I'm the guy with the silver jacket.
Yeah, did you read my note?
Did you read my note? All the information is right here. I laid it all out. And the guy goes, one of them goes, are you going to keep it?
You got dibs.
And I'm like, am I going to keep the deer? And they go, yeah, are you going to keep it? And I'm like, no, no. Like it was the most. I thought it was the silliest question. I said, no, I don't even have a car. What am I going to throw it over my shoulders and hey, this is mine, you know? I said, no, I'm not going to keep it. And they said, you mind if we keep it? And I'm like, have at it, you know? And so they go, woo, 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 woo! And they start high-fiving each other, and they just ran back to the truck. We can have it, we can have it, woo! So,
what were their eyes like? Were they crazed? I picture
yeah,
them.
I remember their eyes, too. So they go back, and then the one of them runs back to me and says, we need you to come tell the cop that you're giving us the deer because he ain't going to let us keep it. So I'm like, oh, my God. So I had to run back to the cop car, and there's a cop, and the guy goes, the cop goes, did you hit that deer? And I'm like, I did. He goes, are you going to keep it? I'm like, no, I'm not going to keep it. And he said, are you going to give it to these guys? And I said, yeah. And again, they overhear this and go, woo, woo, woo. And I said, yeah, they can have it. And he goes, all right. He goes, I need to see your license and registration. And my registration had just expired.
Oh, my God.
I told you.
My registration had just expired. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't want any part of this, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to run to my car. I get my license. I reach into the glove box to get my registration. But when the brake fluid had come out of the thing, it wiped away like half the ink on the registration. So I run back to the cop car. I've got my license. I've got a registration that's dripping. And I hand it to the cop, and he just starts laughing. And he shows it to his partner. His partner starts laughing. There's just ink just dripping on the registration. And then the guy grabs a book and starts writing a thing out. And I'm thinking, all right, he's writing me a ticket, And he writes this thing out. He gives it to me. It's like a little tag, and it doesn't look like a ticket to me. He goes, give that to them and tell them to twist it onto the antler.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what is this? He goes, well, it's you're giving up your rights to the deer, and I'm the official body that's recognizing this. So this is the official document that they got tie.
It's like a wedding.
Onto the antler.
I do take this deer.
Do you give this deer to these hungry gentlemen?
So they twist tie the thing on the antler, I guess. I guess that decides whether it's a girl or a boy. But
yeah.
And then they go to put the. I'm trying to figure out. They go to put the deer. Oh, I know what happens. They go to put the deer in the trunk. Mm-hmm. And the cop goes, what are you guys doing? And they go, we're putting the deer in the trunk. And he goes, are you crazy? That deer's going to explode.
What? Explode?
And they go, what are you talking about? He goes, well, when it's dead, it'll get bloated and it's going to explode all over your trunk. So they're like, all right. And then so the cop goes, you need to gut it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm done with these guys. I run back to my car. And then all of a sudden the hunters run back up to me and they ask the tow truck driver.
Give me a break.
They said, do you have a knife? Do you have a knife? And the tow
They're
truck
hunters without a knife.
Yeah.
They know all the intricacies of deer legal exchange, but they don't know that deers explode in a trunk.
So the tow truck driver gives them a knife, and they're like, well, wait a second. We can't gut this because we can't see, And the tow truck driver goes, drive to the next exit, and you can use my headlights to gut the deer.
Oh, my God.
So they put their deer in their trunk. We all drive to the next exit. We pull off into this little grassy area, and then they go and hold the dead deer up in front of the tow truck. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of the tow truck, and a guy just jabs the knife in the deer and just starts ripping it up. And I'm like horrified. I'm horrified. And then one guy's holding, another guy just reaches inside the deer and just starts pulling out deer guts.
Deer guts.
And
gross.
just, it's all glooping into the grass.
Oh, God.
And then they take the knife and they just wipe it off on the grass, well, there you go. There's your pristine knife back. And gave it back to the tow truck driver, and that's it. That's the end of the story.
I told you.
Wow.
I told you.
That's a lot to unpack in that.
Out of the deer.
The deer, a lot of goop on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, watching an animal. I was in the South too, and they gutted a pig, and I was like, I had to live with that trauma for like a year, like seeing like a animal's intestines.
I'd never seen anything like it. I felt bad that I had killed the deer, and then when I'm seeing what has happened to this deer since I hit it,
yeah,
when they were pulling the stuff out, it was like they were taking towels out of a dryer.
They're folding up.
Yeah, they're like just pulling stuff out like this is a normal activity.
Yeah, they're listening to music while they do it.
They got,
put it in the basket.
They got a gut hamper.
Gut hamper. Oh man! Wow. Well, we got. I mean,
we're at time, and there's no way to follow up that. And
there's the unfollowable story.
Is there any follow up questions to this? This is this is so much to take in. The story had more twists and turns. I feel like we should put a warning sign, 3 warning signs.
Yeah. Deer hitting signs. Oh man!
And you were in between New York City and Syracuse?
It was closer to Syracuse. Like I was just south of Syracuse. It was out in the middle of the wilderness, away from the city. The wilderness. I'm the Wild West.
That reminds me of telling you how my parents met. They were both hunters.
Yeah. They went, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, we can take it.
You're going to keep this guy. Woo, woo.
Wow. Well, thank you, Brian, for being here.
You're welcome.
The story lived up it was worth the wait. I told you.
Nicest tow truck driver, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To use the headlights and the knife and not expect like a leg or something. I'd be like, give me an antler.
Right. And also, well, he once those guys left, I needed to go to a motel, and he drove me to a motel. They did not have any vacancies. He drove me to a second motel. They did not have any vacancies. He drove me to a third motel where they had vacancies, and then I stayed there. So he did that for me as well.
Wow.
So he was a really good guy.
Knowing that these people have an animal, does that make you feel a little better about killing the animal? Like, that's...
Oh, I feel terrific about it.
Did you hear?
It was all worth it. It was all well worth it.
Didn't you hear he had a great experience?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
I just imagine them having a nice venison dinner with their family and
under a deer head that
yeah.
that
Cut to Brian in the third motel staring at the ceiling.
They hang a deer head on their wall that has like a headlamp jammed into it.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Brian, for being here.
You're welcome, guys.
Thanks so much.
It was so fun. The wonderful story. Thank you for letting us share it.
It was worth the wait. It was amazing.
And is there anything that you would like to plug, like Louder Milk, which we've mentioned on the podcast before?
Oh, yeah. I'm on a TV series called Louder Milk on Prime Video. If you want to check that out, that's it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you.
And your Netflix special.
Yeah, it's called On the Rocks. That's out as well.
Yeah. It's so funny. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Andrew, for taking all forms of transportation to be here. And thank you, everybody, for listening, and stay tuned for the outro.
Stay tuned. Thanks, everybody.
Panic attack.
All right.
My heart starts beating really fast. I'm like sweating and trembling.
Me too.
I'm gonna die?
Yeah.